Alright, ladies, men, and non-binary friends, this is going to be a passionate video because I have a lot of thoughts. While you're here, definitely don't press the like, definitely don't subscribe. We only want the best of the internet here, so if that doesn't apply to you, do not interact because we want to keep anyone that sucks out of here. So if that applies to you, I'm sorry, I mean, this is a little... could you get out? Could you get the fuck out? Okay, now that they're gone. David Coena is the best man Disney has ever created. He's better than any Disney prince. He's better than any side character. This man is the perfect man. I will not be taking criticism. I will not be taking negotiations or compromises. And by the end of this video, you will be in agreement with me, or I'll give you my left tit or something. There's not much there anyway. I don't know what you think you're getting. Let's rewind a little bit. Back when I made my Naveen is the best Disney prince video almost a year ago, Jesus Christ, I was flooded with comments about David. And besties, let me say, that video was about the best Disney prince, but David, oof, David is a fucking king. David Coena is dripping with man written by a woman energy. His very essence is a perfect example of the female gaze. For those of you asking, anyone that is not a straight man or a lesbian, this is what we want. This is what everyone wants. You cracked the code, Disney. It is literally only downhill from here. Now, I'll be referencing the first Lilo and Stitch movie when talking about him because that's the movie where he appears the most, and it's where you can get the full picture of his character. Even though, in my opinion, he doesn't get enough screen time, but I digress. I could talk about David for hours, but what I love about him can be boiled into this one sentiment: empathy over urgency. But we'll get to that later. First, let's discuss the entrance. And what an entrance it is. We hear David's triumphant yell and fire dancing. As a 5-year-old watching this, I was already interested, and as a 24-year-old, I am very interested, if you know what I mean. We are given the image of this muscular, tough guy. He's strong, he's playing with fire, and he looks good doing it. Then it cuts to him clumsily losing control and setting fire to the entire stage. This is perfect, and let me tell you why. This scene, this 10-second clip, completely humanizes David as a character. It's almost as if the writers wanted to establish him in the male gaze to throw us off before doing a complete 180 fake out. Because when we see him coming off the stage, burned and embarrassed, politely asking Nani on a date and getting immediately rejected, he is kind, he's polite, he is respectful. And immediately we're like, okay, yep, 100% sold, I'm in. David is one of those perfect characters that just kind of pleases everyone. Yeah, he's a muscular guy. He's objectively pretty attractive. No one is gonna say he's not, but his entire personality and demeanor is anchored in kindness and love, and that is why we love him. Now let's get into empathy over urgency. We see David ask out Nani twice in this movie, and both times he gets rejected. The first time we see it happen, Nani explains that she has a lot to deal with right now, referring to Lilo and Stitch. And the second time, it is offhandedly as a joke. This is after David has found Nani a job, something that she has been desperately trying to find since she was fired at the start of the movie. David, I owe you one. That's okay. You can just date me and we'll call it even. While Nani knows that David is interested, this is clearly a joke and is meant to be read as such. I wouldn't count this as a serious proposal for a date. I read it more as them being friendly and David trying to diffuse the tension a little, letting Nani know that she doesn't owe him anything. He did this because he cares about her and for no other reason. The second time we see David in the movie, Nani and Lilo are at their lowest point since the story began. Lilo has failed to make Stitch a model citizen, and Nani's search for employment has completely run dry. These two are in an incredibly vulnerable state, and if David were a worse man, it would have been so easy for him to take advantage of this situation. And to be honest, we've seen it in other Disney movies, but he doesn't. He uses this opportunity to cheer them up by doing something they can all enjoy together, like the little family that they are. And for a moment, they are happy. It is more important for David to be kind and empathetic towards Nani than to rush into a relationship. Empathy over urgency. Then everything kind of gets fucked again, and Cobra Bubbles ends up telling Nani that she's failed as a guardian and that Lilo will be put into the foster system. David stays by her side, asking again, Nani, is there anything I can do? This scene makes me cry every single time. I am 24 years old. Disney should not be able to make me cry like this anymore. Because at the end of the day, all David wants is for Nani and Lilo to be happy. David loves Nani in such a pure and beautiful way. And all these years later, their relationship hits the same way for me, if not deeper. He cares dearly for Lilo and treats her like his own sister. He's consistently trying to make Nani's life a little easier while still respecting her boundaries. His inclusion is not particularly necessary for the story, but without him, I think this movie would definitely be lacking in heart and love. David adds calm to the chaos of this story. The dynamic between Nani and Lilo is chaotic and even hostile at times, and as soon as Stitch is added to the situation, that chaos is heightened. We can tell that David is great for Nani because he adds a sense of grounding and peace to an otherwise chaotic situation. Just another example of a really good Disney couple that help each other and make each other better. I'm sure many of us are aware of the fabled but very real nice guy. The men that assure you they're not like other guys, but are immediately disinterested in you or straight up aggressive when they realize you don't actually want to sleep with them.
And just f*** me already! I'm a nice guy!
Listen, this message is just for the nice guys in the audience. If you're finishing last, it's probably because we just don't like you. But I can't speak for all women, just the ones that aren't made of silicone and plastic. In all seriousness, if you have to call yourself a nice guy to justify your actions, you're probably not that nice. Nice people don't have to say that they're nice, they show others through their actions. Didn't we all learn this in kindergarten? Love is not transactional. Being nice to someone in hopes of getting something out of it is not actually being a nice person, you are just being manipulative. The point of doing something nice is to do something nice. Sure, if that is reciprocated, it feels good, but it should not be the only reason that you're doing it. Time is also not transactional. Just because you give someone your time doesn't mean they owe you anything in return. When Nani turns David down, he understands that she's got a lot going on and doesn't hold that against her. Instead of being judgmental and feeling like he's owed something after spending time with her, he recognizes, hey, my friend's sister might be taken away from her by the state. It makes sense why Nani wouldn't want to go on a date right now. I'll just be here for her during this very rough time. And he is. He's there for her, no strings attached, as a friend and companion as they sort things out together. He would like to date her, but being her friend is enough for him. And then the movie ends and we actually get to see them go on a date, and it's so tender and I love it! David is one of the few characters in Disney that requires zero development. He's already there. He's reached his final form. He does not need to redeem himself or change in any way. He starts as a good person and he ends as a good person. We can't even say that about our favorite prince. Okay, I am genuinely shook because Disney cracked the code for the perfect man in 2002. And yet I have never seen another character written quite like David. That being said, I genuinely think David paved the way for men in Disney that were just written better. We have Jim Hawkins in Treasure Planet, Sitka and Post-Growth Denahi in Brother Bear. We have Naveen in Princess and the Frog, Flynn Rider in Tangled, Kristoff in Frozen. I could go on. Even so, all of these characters have that traditional masculine charm that David just doesn't. The closest to him would probably be Kristoff, but even he comes off as pretty authoritative at the start of the movie, understandably so, because Anna is saying some batshit crazy stuff about marrying a man she just met, but still, Kristoff just doesn't have that same relaxed, gentle softness that David does. I personally don't think that there's anything inherently wrong with this, and I'm not saying that all characters that are men should be written exactly like David. I like variety in my characters like most people do. I'm just frustrated because we've seen so much of the angsty boy, the dashing rogue, the awkward prodigy, the textbook protagonist, and only one of David. Do you see what I'm saying? I think that's part of what's so special about him and why I like him so much. He is truly one of a kind. Himbos and other supportive men tropes have gained immense popularity in the past few years, with some of our favorite characters embodying this idea of a handsome man who's an ally to women. I hope this continues because I've genuinely enjoyed seeing thoughtful, kind men in leading roles in modern stories. I think it's important to show that you don't have to be aggressive or authoritative or intimidating to make a difference. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so appreciative to everyone who's stuck around. I'd love to do a live stream soon, so keep on the lookout for that. Definitely don't press the like, definitely don't subscribe. We only want the best of the internet here, so if that doesn't apply to you, do not interact because we want to keep anyone that sucks out of here. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Bye!